So, hello, Sally.
I have instantly got awkward.
Well, I instantly say hello funny as well, which I don't know why I do.
Hello.
I don't know
Like
why I
we've
do
just
that.
started talking.
Yeah.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello. Well, this is our first time of meeting. I've been a long-term fan, and I'm absolutely delighted that you could come on and speak today with us.
Yeah,
So
thanks for the
that's
invite.
super. Yeah, absolutely love it. So, you're in Barcelona right now.
Yes. I'm not going to turn my camera around to show you how wonderful it is outside. But yes, I am. I'm in shorts.
Your own shorts.
Yeah.
Nice. Right. Well, we shall start the conversation where we always start, and I'll let you pick from where you see that point beginning. But what set you off on doing your own thing? In particular, the clothes, manners, but I'd like to hear whatever you have to say about what started you off.
Sure. I mean, it's an easy starting point, but it's a bit of a heavy one, partly. Well, yeah, I mean, it was born from a really, really, really shitty time. I had to leave I was living in Bali and my son was 5, and I used to get everything made there because there's just the most amazing makers of everything there. Partly that, and partly because I'm like 10 sizes larger than the largest person there. So I had to make a very sudden decision to leave for mine and my child's safety. And the day that happened, I happened to have a box of things made for me in my size, and maybe about 15 pieces, medium tops, large bottoms. And so in my suitcase, we left everything, kids' toys, I mean, really everything, and arrived in London the next day with a couple of £100 and a 5-year-old and nowhere to live, and a very small box of a few things that potentially I thought maybe I could sell. So we ended up renting this, like subletting a council flat just by Portobello Road Market. A really shitty little flat full of broken washing machines. And I'd never lived in London before. And I crossed over the road and I found this market. So I went home and got my kid, went to Sainsbury's, bought a succulent, took this little box of clothes, and went and found the guy that ran Portobello Road Market and said, I need a stall. And he was like, there's a 5-year waiting list for a stall. And I was like, cool, we'll wait, sit down. We just sat there. I was like, I got nowhere to be. So, and so we just waited, and I was pretty sure that I would win, and I did. So it got to the point where he couldn't bear it anymore, and he gave me a stall, and I basically sold everything in the first day. And I phoned the guy in Bali that used to make my clothes, who at that point just had one sewing machine. His wife cut the patterns and he sewed, and I was like,
it was your designs.
All my designs, yeah. And I speak fluent Indonesian, and I just phoned him and said, can you send me, I don't know, I can't even remember how many it was. It was nearly 9 years ago now, 50 things, and I'll pay you afterwards if I sell them. And if I don't sell them, I'll pay you a lot afterwards. And he sent them, and I sold them, and then I moved to Spitalfields Market, and he sent more, and I sold them, and I paid him back, and just really chipped away at it like that. So part of it was pure survival, why I started it, in summary. And part of it, really a big part of it, was that I was determined that I was never going to be answerable to a man ever again in my life, which meant potentially never dating again, but also not having a real job, because my problem at the top was going to be a man. So it was a real just like fighting for to come back to life, to get myself back, to put myself back together, to make a future for me and my kids in a time when it felt like there wasn't really anything bright in the future.
And full on independence.
Yeah.
Because as well with the clothes, so it's also for the survival part, but also the necessity in terms of needing some clothes that fit in countries.
Yeah.
Or UK high streets included in that. that don't
Totally. A
cater.
big part of it was that as well. And I think, like, sometimes it sounds very dramatic. I say, like, these clothes saved my life, but not only did they, because they gave me independence, but also having something, you know, I've always been a larger woman and I've always struggled to find clothes that fit. And just having something that made me feel okay in my body really helped me put my life back together and fight and feel some little bit of confidence in myself. So yeah, there was lots of elements.
Well, and I always say, so like the niche thing, it starts with you. It starts with what you want to do, what's of an interest to you. So for you, where you've said like, this has saved me and helped me put my life back together. But then that extends, because of course there are people either in our situation or similar situation. And I know for you, like the sisterhood's a massive thing, done some beautiful writing about it as well, that sort of manifests through your clothes brand stories and things, brand messaging stuff, which it's just beautiful. But you see that being then shared by others, which must feel quite amazing, that thing you were able to do for yourself is by proxy the right way of saying it? By proxy, then also doing that
absolutely.
for...
And I always talk about, like, you know, confidence or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes self-love feels too big and too impossible, but it's contagious, you know, being that woman who's sitting on the beach with your belly out, with your saggy tits out, with whatever. You don't know what that sparks in someone else, and then that continues, that glow continues to pass forward. And definitely, as I started, you know, women have saved my life. The clothes saved my life, but really women have saved my life. And just getting to, like, be with women every day, get to choose who I work with, get to I just like this. We have so many notions of what we couldn't, shouldn't, mustn't do, wear, say, and to be even a tiny part of someone going, "Go on, yeah, you can."
Well, I think sometimes we don't even know it as well. It's like the fish in water, which we're so indoctrinated and get these messages from so early on. I love, there was one quote that you said, again, this is your writing. I'm like loving your words as much as your clothes. I think the lashings of self-adoration, I think you put it. And I was like, oh, lashings and lashings.
Yes, as much as you put lashings of butter, let's do the self. I love just plugging in my laptop.
Get in there. You're teasing us with like a bit of window to the outside of Barca.
Don't know how you can't focus it.
Yeah, it doesn't show it very well on there.
Right, we've got a change of background now. A bit more blur.
That's all right.
Okay.
Oh. So, well, yes, and with the guy thing. So, because I know as well, there was when we say about sticking it to the man and stuff as well. I know we've just mentioned it before, and I know it's a bit cringe, but with the Dragon's Den and particularly the Peter Jones, it's like it was just so interesting to watch it because he's so confident in what he's saying. And it's just because they have no
about it, which is like
anything about it or anything of the, like, I'm watching it, I'm going, yes, ever get the clothes, and it's like, yes. And it's like, it's just so irrelevant to him. It's crazy. I mean, we know it to be, but when you see it laid so bare, it's quite a thing.
The plus-size fashion industry is totally saturated. It's where saturated in floral
Scents.
house. What are they called? My granny's house.
Mamu.
Yeah, saturated in those, drowning in them, but don't know if that counts.
Well, also, like, you could say that about any clothes that come out ever again.
Or just anything. Like,
just
right? Like, most things have been done apart from crazy tech advancements. Like, yeah, there's not that much new stuff.
No, well, and again, when it comes back to to the niche thing, and it's like whatever new thing I've gone into, there's always, as soon as you get there, there's a whole load of people already there, but doing it their own way. Like you still,
Exactly.
it's still a new voice, and it's still coming from a new place, and you've still got a new thing, that you're introducing about it. So I just thought, yeah, that was just quite telling, and quite telling in that he's like, because a big saying that goes like, the take up more space, own more space, and I know that was in one of the videos that you'd made as well. And it is that when you have those sort of comments, it's like he's like, well, there's plus size, but you can all just be here. Like, you can't even imagine that it should have more space.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh no, there's enough. There's one fat person, one black person, one disabled person. We're cool. We've decked that. Now let's go back to like making sure all the mainstream people are all right. It's just,
Yeah.
the same tokenism nonsense. I mean, it was a long time ago now
Yes.
going on there. It was really awful. It was so awful. And I hate being on camera, which no one believes, because I am all the time, but that's by myself.
Well, you are the best model for your clothes as well. I mean, that you've designed them and made them for you, and they absolutely look amazing when you're doing it. And it is that thing of like putting yourself out there as well to give that confidence for others.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be on Dragon's Den. I got approached to be on that, and I certainly, my plan for being on there was to try and not look like a dickhead, but definitely not get them to invest, because I couldn't think of any people that could be less aligned with my philosophies or business than any of them. But like, some of the women were okay, but still, like, that was not my goal to be on there. It was just to try and get a bit of extra business and a bit of recognition, which is a hard line to walk.
But I love that, because it is, when we talk about like value driven businesses and things, it sounds a bit like, how do you say? Can't even think of the word now. But it is. It feels like, what am I trying to say? Like, I'm going to edit this bit out. I absolutely can't think of the word. But anyway.
Cliched.
There you go. It sounds a bit cliched, but it's true. When things really, really do mean stuff.
Oh my God.
To the people that have made it, and who really, it runs through everything. Because it's like, I know that you've said before as well, like, that you're working with women on every part of it as well. So it's like all those different areas running all the way through.
Yeah, and I've got women from in all different places now, all different women working for me, which it's really true. Like, I've tried and tested this. There's loads of ways of running business which are way more effective, way less time consuming, like bulk doing stuff, batch writing newsletters, bulk. And I mean, firstly, I just cannot do it. People are like, oh, what's your newsletter schedule? My newsletter schedule is when I fucking feel like writing something, and it may come once every 6 months, and I might write 3 in 4 days, and I'm not going to do it any other way, because every time I force myself to do something, or people are like, oh, we love blue or something. I don't like blue. And then I make stuff in blue and it doesn't bloody sell. Or I write something because I've got a deadline and no one responds, and I may as well have just had an extra hour in bed. So I really, the more I do it, the more I realize that unless I love it, I'm not doing it. I'm not writing it. I'm not making it. I'm not designing it. I'm not sharing it. I'm not saying it. If I don't fully love it.
I just love hearing you say that, because from a fellow, I've tried batching, I've tried scheduling, I've tried organising, and I know that it's more efficient, and I know that it's all these things, but it just comes out dry. Like, when I feel it, it flows.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
you feel that in your writing. Like, whenever you read something, it's like even though I hadn't spoken to you before, you do feel like you know. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's really, really, yeah, really personal. Like, really connection. What is with my words today? Fuck's sake.
Thanks, love. Yeah, it's been very strange having the shop and having people coming in, and I'm total imposter syndrome. They come in, they're like, "Oh my god,
It's
so
you.
bright red." Like, what do you mean? It's
Well,
really
that brings us well to the shop. So,
what are you doing? Are you going? Go on then. There might be rustling. There's a teenager, a little rat in the cupboards, rustling around for.
is he loving Barcelona?
You loving Barcelona, people?
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, don't make popcorn. No, darling, don't make popcorn now. When we finished.
Is popcorn one too far?
Too far. It's going to be beep, beep, beep. Love you, but not that much.
Yes. So, but that brought us to the shop because you did the market and then it was online.
Yeah.
And then we've come to the shop. So how long were you doing it online?
Well, I did the market for 4 years. This June will be 9 years since I landed in London, which is wild.
It was 2015, right?
Yeah, I did the market for 4 and a bit. And so then I've been online for maybe 5. But I mean, it started off really, really, really tiny, obviously. So yeah, online for about 5 now.
And the shop, did it open in February? Am I right with that?
Yeah. Not sure if it was a bad idea. Yeah. I'm still working out how that works in my life, or if I just need more therapy and less projects.
So it's Manor Studio, and I loved, again, the writing piece about it. So it's from stone's throw from your house.
Yeah.
Orange tree-lined street, setting the scene. Oh. And also this thing for wanting the connection, because the online stuff is great. I have it too. Like, I can work with people much further. We can have this conversation. So much of it has given a lot of people freedom.
Yeah.
But then it's also this,
at what cost?
The real connection thing, and face to face. And it's this constant quest for the sweet spot, I think.
Yes.
I think if I have to be with people all the time and have to be somewhere all the time, I can't do that.
Sure.
But but it's, that sweet spot. So is that, I'm presuming that the shop, the studio, is a little bit of a scratch of that.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. It's super early days. I never wanted a shop. Obviously, living in Spain post-Brexit as well makes it way more complicated. If I was in the UK, it would be much easier. It's actually, my brother says all my plans go step 1, reach a point of no return. And this was a perfect example of that, where I was just like, yeah, I'll open a shop. And then I was like, oh, it needs to be a whole separate business with a whole like Spanish accounting team and like payroll and everything all in Spanish, and can't even cross, like it has to be completely separate. So it's still in its early days where I'm like, but I was there today and like 3 or 4 lovely people came in. One woman who had my clothes, who was on holiday with her family, came in and stayed for ages and tried loads of things on. So yeah, it's a work in progress. I opened it and then had like a couple of trips booked, and I literally never go away. So I've had to just like hand it over to people, and now I'm back and now I'm in, and it feels, I mean, it's literally, I never wanted to shop. I walked up, it's my favorite street. Someone put a for rent sign on the window, a cleaner, and I was like, oh, can I just come and have a look in out of curiosity? And walked in and was like, oh shit, this is my shop. I mean, it's got a sunny terrace out the back, it's beautiful, and it's just a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work, but it feels nice to be not just behind my computer screen. I love people. I love meeting people. I love seeing people try my clothes on. I love remembering like why I'm doing this, why I started it, why it's still going, why it will keep going, and it feels really great. I just need to iron out a few of the little beginning bits. And
Well,
then
when you see like there's the Manners London, and then when you see in all like the videos and things that you make for it, or the people sharing your clothes, like it feels really community building led. Would you say that's?
Yeah, I mean, that's really my thing. Getting people together is my thing. Like getting women together and feeling good is my thing, whether that's like getting people to go to the sea and swim in freezing cold water in the winter, which they'd never usually do, or there's nothing greater for me than communing of women, like especially when they're like half naked or whatever, just free when there's no men around, when people are just getting changed and chatting, and it's just
Taking up
pure
all the space.
magic for me. Yes, I love it so much.
And did you do, am I right in this, that again, when I was just doing the research, that you had sort of like a business mentor program or something that was to help women do what you've done in terms of building the thing of like, I think I made a note of it because it's very much like from the niche angle that I find really important. So that like, why are you doing it? Who
Sure.
are you? What's your voice? That sort of.
So we did that in the
angle.
pandemic when there was a bit more time. Partly was because I was like lucky that I'd left the market just before the pandemic hit, and so many people on the market had to pack up, and lots of people who had cash businesses or whatever, things that were just a bit, there was no backup, right? Suddenly, like, you couldn't get any help from the government. They were loads of people were just so fucked. And so me and my best friend, who is like does all my marketing, who has been absolutely pivotal in everything, really. I wouldn't be in Barcelona without her. She's amazing. She does Facebook marketing, meta marketing. She's Ukrainian. She's a single mom. She's just a wonderful human. Living here, she was the real pull to come here. But we decided that between us and her partner, who does real like it's my cat, kind of bigger picture systems kind of stuff, we were like, right, well, let's try and see if we can help some people like fast track their whatever their little product business is, or if they had a market store or whatever, let's see if we can just get some people and try and get them going. And it was really, really great. But then the pandemic's slowed down and life sped up, and there just was no capacity to do it. But it was really fun and really great.
No, but I love it in that time because I do think like an absolute master of the brand storytelling. Like it comes naturally because it isn't. It's me trying to find my words. Oh no, it begins with a C. Contrived.
Ah, yes.
It isn't contrived. It like even when you're saying about with my writing, I just need to just let it flow and you feel that coming through. So I think it's really great, that honesty to see for other people to see how to do their story, and that
and I just think
tell it how you tell it.
What you're doing, but if you don't know what you're doing honestly, then you'll be all right. I just think you'll just muddle through somehow, and no matter what you're selling or sharing or whatever your product or your service or whatever it is, if you're really truthful in it, then someone is going to connect to that, even if it's a bit crap. Like people who see something of themselves in it, like whatever it is, if it's in its early days, it's not there, it's not what you dream of it.
I love that. So it doesn't have to be perfect to begin with. It polish as you go. It's like you say, you have a few pieces in a box in the market, and then you've got to where you are now 9 years later.
Yeah,
but
mine's far from
you've got to start from somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Step one, reach a point of no return, and then work out the fine print afterwards.
But it's a bit like the making the jump and building the wings on the way down vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think if you're doing something that comes from a place of like genuine, I don't know, there's so many gross business models which are just about scaling and money. And, you know, I could change my suppliers. I have to put my prices up soon because the prices are going up. And I could change my suppliers and get my clothes made in China, and it would completely turn my business into a profit making thing, which it's not at the moment. But I'm not going to do that. I think, I really want it to be, I really want my beliefs, my philosophies to really stick on all the layers of my business, not to be a sales pitch. You know, it's like, it's really important to me. They're made by people who I have a relationship, who I care about. We've built this together, and I just think that's so important. And I think that's why men really win at business, because they care less. Is that a really terrible gendered thing to say? But I think generally, like the business model, the white male kind of CEO model, yeah, of course they're there, because
the
like,
Peter Jones type, and that's why he couldn't understand it. Because I think it's sort of a piece of art, the whole thing. If you know it, like, yeah, it all runs really deep, and it's more than a business.
Yeah, I really love it. I do sometimes think, that's it, I'm going to try and sell it. And then I just think, well, I just couldn't. Firstly, what would I wear? I don't want to wear anything else. I was like, oh, I'll sell it, but I'll buy like 10 rolls of fabric and store them. And then I'll sell it. And then I realized that it's such a labor of love. I can't imagine my life. I can't imagine doing anything else. I just love what I do so much. I love to see women feeling good in their bodies. It's just like, it's the most magic thing. And being on photo shoots, like I started outsourcing a bit of stuff, not outsourcing, but like, I've got an amazing team, so they can do photo, video, whatever without me. They're just brilliant. And I just missed it so much, just that, like, just seeing women just being so fucking kind to each other, and so like bigging each other up, and just this room full of women who didn't know each other that morning, like sitting around half naked, getting changed, sharing food, sharing stories. It's just like, I can't imagine what my life would be without that.
Have there been a lot of people that you've met through doing this as well? Because I have a thing that's like, find your niche, find your people, both in terms of customers, but also like the people that you're working with, the people that you're collaborating with, the people who get in touch, the people who you're talking to on a podcast, this sort of vibe.
God, I mean, it's brought me, and like all my friendships pretty much are through my business. I've had people message me being like, I was at a festival, and like 3 of us saw each other in your clothes in like a stage, and we all ran to each other and hugged. And they're like, if this is what your customers are like, could you have a huge party? I moved here, and part of my like newsletter blog was about like leaving and starting over, and just like the process of packing up my life and moving with my kid here. And like my best mates here are women who followed me and responded to my email and were like, hey, I live in Barcelona, do you want to go for lunch? And I met up with them, and the rest is history. And they're like, they're my mates.
Fantastic.
My best friend brought me to Barcelona. She just started doing Facebook ads. We just worked together on Zoom for like 3 years, and then became like closest friends. Our kids are friends. So yeah, I mean, it's saved my life, this business.
Saved and not created. Not created, that feels too much, but it's like it's shaped it as well.
Totally shaped it. Yeah, I mean, in so many ways. How I'm able to be a parent, the people I know, the hours I work, the people I meet. Yeah, just everything. It's like when I moved to when we landed in London, I ended up doing like a full-time law degree while at the same time trying to.
I saw that. I was like,
because it was a backup. I was just like, if I really can't make this work,
power to you, full on power to you.
It was total madness, and I can't remember what the point of it now was at all. No, I've lost it. lost the.
Well, when you went to London, shaping your life, when you went to London.
Oh yeah, and loads of people were like, babes, you've got a kid. We lived in temporary accommodation for 4 years in like a bed bug riddled hellish apartment, just piled with clothes and stuff, and quite a few people pulled me aside and were like, babes, like, you've got a kid, you need to
Really
get a real job. Yeah, there were times when people were like, we know you really want this, but right. And
That's
even Peter Jones was like,
power
well,
to keep.
you've got a law degree to fall back on. But I really, really
Wanted it.
trusted that this was what I was supposed to be doing.
Trusted
Like, I really,
that's nice.
yeah. And it wasn't always easy. I mean, that's why I did a whole law degree, because there were moments of doubt for sure. But really, this was what I was supposed to be doing, and feel very grateful to be able to be doing something that I truly love and care about. It's a real gift that not many people get the chance to do in their lives, I think, to really do something that they really love.
No, but it's the chance and also the braveness to do it. I mean, a lot of people, if they were having people around them questioning, and you've got your kid, that's a lot to still keep that trust and power through and persevere and come
rough
out
for a while, for sure.
Yeah,
It was pretty rough for a while, but
and now you're in Barcelona.
yes.
Where do you see this going anywhere? I know as well, for like, in terms, not do you see this going anywhere? What's your next plans? That's what I mean. Like, you what? Sorry,
I was like, what? Me and you? Do you mean you slipped?
Yeah, I want my own personal line.
What was your question?
So now you're in Barcelona, and yeah, you had the shop, and I know that you've said for like plans that it's sort of like very impulsive. But do you have anything that you'd like to do extra with Manners? Is there something that like could come out in the future?
Yeah, I mean, really, there's lots of things that I want to do, but they feel huge. Huge.
What's the biggest?
The biggest is that
the most audacious.
My dream would be to, like, as a long-term single parent and a survivor of domestic violence, like, I haven't rested. I've never had space to rest. There has been no place where I feel like I can just lay down I don't have a very close kind of family or whatever. It's just been a lot of work, and it is. And I have one kid. I just can't imagine having more. My real dream would be that I could create some kind of foundation which could create some kind of, I hate the idea of retreats, but like, I just have this vision of having some beautiful, cozy, big house, which is somewhere, again, it's like the clothes thing is about women feeling like, oh, I could never, I should never, I would never. But I love to have that idea in like a space that you could go, like, when you've got no money, you don't go on holiday as a single parent. Like, if you're very lucky, you find a way to turn your life around, but it's fucking hard. And I would love to be able to create something with Manners that was offering like a holiday retreat center that was, either like heavily tiered, so it offers loads of free places to people who just can't afford it. I just want women to rest. I just want them to be all the things they think they could never do. I feel like I'm going to cry now. I'm a real crier. I want to be that hand that goes like, come on, I found a way. Like, come here. You can sit down. You can put your feet up. You can have a break. Like, I love the idea of having a kind of retreat center that's got like some kind of kids camp, which is far away from it, but really, you can
safe, but you rest.
Yeah, you can really rest. Like, this one's on me. Just put your feet up.
I love that goes from like the feeling from when you're in the clothes to the feeling of how you could be in life, like the same thing running through
negotiations, because he knows that I'm busy, but before bed, otherwise you can't go out tomorrow evening. Yeah, that I just Yeah, my thing in life is to be that little voice that goes like, go on, but maybe you can. Like, just try it. Whether that's like, take your bra off, wear something backless, or whether it's like, yeah, just go and do something that you've really told yourself, more than even anyone's told you necessarily, but that you've told yourself is just not available to you. Like something that just gives you a bit of fucking joy, because there's so little joy. And I really want to encourage you that maybe there is more than you think that you're able to find, to have access to, in whatever shape that comes in.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love that. I think that's a great one to finish on. I think that's a mic drop moment.
Oh, thanks, love.
So I'm just going to press stop. Thank you very much. And I'll just do stop.